Hello, Rutgers alumni, and welcome to Working Lunch, a career-oriented webinar series brought to you by the Rutgers University Alumni Association and Rutgers University Foundation. And also a special thank you to all the Rutgers alumni who helped make this possible. My name is Colin von Liebtag, and I oversee Rutgers Alumni Career Services Program. As always, you can find more alumni career service information and other webinars like this at our newly redesigned website, ouralumni.com/career resources. In JobQuest, this webinar today, we'll cover the main elements essential to conducting an effective job search, including the power of a positive mindset, developing a successful job search strategy, and various tools and resources to help you put all of this into action along the way on your own individual job search. A rewarding and satisfying career allows us to pursue our interests, use our talents, and grow. This means we need first to approach the job search with the big picture in mind. How will the job that you're searching for now tie in with your overall career and life goals? Will it be something that fills an immediate urgent need? Will it be more of a stepping stone to something greater in your career? Or a role that helps you transition to a new career altogether? Keeping these questions in mind can help clarify the process. During this webinar, we're going to cover three main parts of the job search, and then specific resources and action plan items that you can use to help you be successful. Look at this as an opportunity to visit the job search buffet and pick and choose the elements that speak most to you and your situation. The topics we'll cover can be beneficial for all ages and career life stages. Just adapt them to you and your individual needs. With that, let's begin discussing how to find jobs that will provide you with meaningful opportunities. As we all know, job searches can feel like you're either being pulled in many directions or you might even just kind of feel stuck and stagnant. There are times when job searches are frustrating, challenging, and full of pressure. They can impact and be impacted by family, financial, educational, and even societal influences, and create a sense of mental and emotional difficulty. They can seem complex and daunting. However, when faced with complicated, frustrating, or even challenging situations, it helps to break things down into simplified parts. Then, deal with each of those parts individually. It's like building a wall brick by brick. If you take the time to lay each brick properly and focus on doing your best with the individual parts, then you end up with a solid structure when you put it all together. And so it is with the job search. You can simplify things by breaking job searches down into three main parts: mindset, strategy, and tools. I'm pretty sure everyone wants to get to the main course and start talking about the tips and resources to help in the job search, and we'll certainly get there. But a successful job search doesn't begin with a resume, interview, or an internet search. It truly begins with a mindset and approach that aligns with staying in a positive mental and emotional space, and allows us to utilize our strengths. So we have to eat our vegetables before we get to our dessert, so to speak. Let's talk about a healthy mindset. Much like the image in the slide here, how we mentally approach the job search can influence how others see us and perceive who we are, which directly influences job search performance. Whether we like it or not, our emotional state rises to the surface during our interactions as we plan and strategize and make decisions. All of these areas are crucial to job searches, especially given the stress levels that can exist while looking for a job. A healthy and productive mindset and approach are comprised of four main areas: balance, positivity, strength assessment, and effective goal setting. You may have heard others say that if you don't have a full-time job, then finding a job should be your full-time job. However, that kind of thinking can lead to burnout, unnecessary pressure, and compounding feelings of frustration. It also doesn't always translate to a focused job search. Ideally, it helps to value quality over just quantity of applications when searching for jobs and putting forth effort. Thus, having a healthy, balanced life where you still operate as a holistic person with interests and activities outside of your job search is extremely beneficial. This includes healthy diet, exercise, and sleep patterns, things that cannot be deprioritized at crucial times like this. Whether unemployed and seeking a new role, or currently employed and seeking a new opportunity. When you look and feel your best by living a balanced life, it translates over to overall better performance in things like interviews, networking, and more sustained energy throughout the job search process, too. As much as we urgently want to find a job, mindset and approach cannot be ignored. Similarly, staying positive can be a challenge, especially during a prolonged search or when there is a real sense of urgency to find a new job. While not hearing back from employers on job applications, waiting for responses, or not receiving offers after interviews are all very negative experiences. Staying positive can be achieved when we reframe our experiences and reassess the things that we actually have control over. There will be times when you're completely qualified for the position, but never hear back on the application, and it may have nothing at all to do with you as a person or as an applicant. It could be because they suspended the search due to funding issues or a hiring freeze. They may already have an inside candidate in mind for the job, a former intern, friend, or even the boss's cousin. The job may have been posted for the company to mine applicant data, or there may be elements of ageism at play for those in the more kind of advanced career stages. All of these reasons are completely out of your control and have nothing at all to do with you as a candidate and how qualified you are. Some of the most successful salespeople reframe their experiences of rejection in order to be positive and not get burnt out. If on average a salesperson only makes, let's say, 5 sales for every 100 customers that they talk to, it's very possible that they could eventually start to feel pretty dejected going to work every day. However, if they reframe each rejection and instead look at that experience from a statistical standpoint, then it means that every rejection they face brings them that much closer to an actual paying customer, because they just crossed a non-customer off the list. Similarly, Thomas Edison failed at making the light bulb thousands of times, but he only needed one way to make his invention work. He reframed the experience as getting all of the failing experiences out of the way so that he could get to the one positive experience that would be his breakthrough. And so it is with job searching and applications too. Being realistic about the nature of job postings and also the time frame for hiring is important. According to a recent study, it can take job hunters an average of 5 months to land a position. This can vary depending on many factors, including industry, time of year, the economy, company stability, and seniority of position, just to name a few. Being realistic and informed can help maintain positivity and eliminate feelings of personal frustration and demoralization. It also gives you a sense of when to start your job search if you have important time considerations in mind, or you're coming close to something like graduation. Therefore, it's important to set goals that will help you create actionable steps with realistic expectations to keep the job search focused, manageable, and as stress-free as possible. Setting goals by using the SMART method can help to ensure that you take ownership of the job search and stay focused on the things that you can control. The SMART method stands for goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. For example, having the goal of getting a job isn't a goal that one can really fully control. As discussed, there may be many reasons for why this is challenging. However, breaking down the idea of getting a job into the SMART method helps us create real goals with actionable steps that will assist in landing a job. So, instead of the goal being to get a job, a SMART goal would be to connect with someone in your field and ask if this person can help provide a resume critique within the next 2 weeks. It meets the SMART criteria of being specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely for your job search. And it takes a complex issue like finding a job and breaks it into more manageable segments. Lastly, it's important to operate from a strengths-based perspective in the job search. It's about what you bring to the table in terms of skills, education, experience, talents, and abilities, not what may be missing. Being aware of your strengths takes honest self-assessment and appraisal of the things you're really working to your advantage. What are your unique selling points? These are the things that make you qualified and competitive in the job market. They are the reasons that people would be interested in you as a candidate. One place to start is to examine the current skills that you have and are relevant to your industry or field. When you look at job descriptions, are you seeing skills that match your skill set? Or is there a gap between what they're asking for in a candidate and the skills or experience that you currently have? If there is a gap, you may consider continuing education options such as courses, certificate programs, or degrees. By looking at your strengths, you can identify the skills, experience, education, personal attributes, connections, and technical capabilities that will help you to demonstrate to others why you're a good fit for the jobs that you're applying to, and it will also help you to identify how competitive you may be in the job market and whether or not you need to upskill or find continuing education opportunities. To help you maintain a positive, balanced frame of mind and assess your strengths during the job search, here are some resources to help you. You can conduct a self-SWOT analysis to do an overall assessment of your current standing in the job search process. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are internal factors, like your degree or skill set as a strength, or maybe your lack of formal experience as a weakness. Opportunities and threats are external factors, such as a major company just moving into the neighboring town and looking for new employees. That would be an opportunity. Or your industry has been impacted by a national economic downturn. That would be a threat. As part of your self-assessment, it's crucial to look at your support systems too. Who are your champions? Who are your connections in your network that you can reach out to? Who has the best interests in mind for you and will genuinely encourage you during this process? These people will help you to maintain balance, positivity, and tap into your strengths. They may also be part of why you're conducting a job search in the first place in terms of your inspiration. So, wrapping up the discussion on mindset and approach, action steps include conducting a SWOT analysis to identify support, resources, strengths, and areas for growth, such as continuing education and professional development. Remember, you're looking at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, internal and external factors that impact your job marketability. You can create an image or write a list of reasons why you're in the job search in the first place. You don't have to be an artist. Just create something that will connect you to your reasons and motives as reminders. It can help you to revisit this as needed, too, for encouragement and motivation, especially during a prolonged job search. We all need focal points to recenter and refocus us, especially during stressful times. You can identify your particular SMART goals also to help you stay focused in the search as well. Now, let's shift gears a little bit to part 2 of the job search process, developing an effective search strategy to maximize opportunities. When I ask people to walk me through their typical job search process, most often people take me to Indeed or LinkedIn, Monster, or some other kind of major online job database as the first and really in most cases the only method. However, this diagram demonstrates that oftentimes employers are seeking candidates and candidates are seeking jobs, but in very different kinds of ways. They're not always on the same page. When employers are looking to fill positions, it can be cost effective and more advantageous to hire a known entity, someone who is internal, has worked there before, or comes well recommended by others within the organization. This saves HR and hiring managers time, money, and energy by hiring someone who can be considered fairly well known and a good fit. According to this pyramid, all of the main ways of being hired from the employer's perspective involve being connected as part of a network with other individuals who are also connected to that organization. This is where the phrase, "it's not what you know, but who you know," really comes from. I'd like to add that it's also who knows you, because having a strong network means that they can bring meaningful opportunities to you as well, and they can be your champions within an organization. So your network really starts working for you, in essence. However, most job seekers work in a reverse order, and instead of becoming a known entity, they go the route of relative anonymity by applying along with hundreds of other applicants through online postings as a first and sometimes only resort, which, as you can see, is not the employer's preference. So how can you start to shift course and connect with employers in a more meaningful way? Well, over 70% and in some cases as high as 85% of job opportunities are landed through networking, which is consistent with the slide that we just looked at. Networking should be a consistent, substantial part of any job search process. It allows you to connect with the hidden job market, which are jobs that have yet to be posted, but are gained by who you know. Networking helps you to go from one of many in a virtual pile of resumes in the online application systems to being one of the very few being seriously considered for an interview. Networking contacts can be anyone and everyone because you never know who knows who. One easy place to start is on LinkedIn. Online networking can be great for those who are more reserved or hesitant with face-to-face networking. You can also reach a broader audience this way. For those who are comfortable and skilled at interpersonal networking, look to do a blend, both in-person and online networking. Like anything else, practice helps to improve performance. Developing a solid LinkedIn profile and connecting with current and former colleagues, other Rutgers alumni, individuals working in your field, HR recruiters, and organizations of interest is a straightforward way to start reaching out. When you send connection requests, always include a short, personalized message that speaks to an inherent interest in making the connection, not just a message about seeking help finding a job. You can talk with people about their career journey, background, company, or ask for advice and tips. It's all about establishing professional relationships. Find ways to stay relevant and to add value to the relationship as well. Follow people and organizations of interest, post articles, and comment on other people's posts. You can also use the job search feature on LinkedIn to see if there are Rutgers alumni or existing contacts that you already know, or information on the individual maybe who posted the job within the job description itself. This is a great way to target your networking by focusing on organizations of interest and finding ways to get noticed. Using LinkedIn effectively is about being proactive rather than passive. If you have a great profile and connect with a recruiter who posted a position, they may ask to see your resume. Now you've jumped out of that virtual resume pile and landed at the front of the line. That's the power of networking. And as you see from the screenshot here, in the simple 3-step process, by doing a search for Rutgers University, making sure you're on the official Rutgers University LinkedIn page, you'll know because it has so many alumni on there, and then doing a search, as you see in step 3, through the alumni tab, you can actually find alumni working in your given field with your job title, in your geographical region, at companies of interest for you, and you can even, scroll through the criteria here and do a filtered search to see if they have the same kind of major or what field they're working in within those companies. It's a really, really great way to start connecting with warmer leads. Warmer leads being alumni who are probably more likely to actually follow up on any messaging or connection requests that you send their way. Another strategic method for the job search process involves developing a targeted list of employers, job titles, professional associations and organizations, and industry-specific job boards. By developing a targeted list of employers, you can start to see who is doing the hiring within your search parameters. Start simply with things like geographical preferences and job titles, then narrow the focus from there. You can also start following these organizations on social media to see where and when they are posting jobs, to be aware of relevant news and insights to help you prepare for interviews, and to assist with creating more tailored resumes and cover letters for applications to specific organizations. Knowing alternate job titles can yield more results. For example, marketing manager, brand manager, and content strategist are all search criteria for jobs in the field of marketing and may have some overlap with each other, but they will yield different search results. Developing a targeted list of search criteria can help to broaden or refine a search as needed. Next, having a targeted list of employers helps with developing a targeted list of networking contacts within those organizations. It also assists in setting search alerts through the standard online job boards such as Google, LinkedIn, Indeed, and Monster to help bring the job search opportunities to you that are a specific fit with the parameters that will really just save you time in your search, save you effort, save you frustration. And that's time and energy that you can spend networking and making valuable industry contacts. Specifying lists of specific job boards can really also be beneficial when identifying relevant organizations and professional associations that you might want to affiliate with. Most professions and industries have associations, and most associations have job boards and networking opportunities for members. So it's worth exploring which professional organizations may be worth joining. Now, let's take a look at 3 specific resources to assist with your job search strategy. First, Student Alumni Career Connect is a networking and mentoring platform that is designed exclusively for Rutgers students and alumni. As alumni, you have the benefit of networking with other Rutgers graduates from all academic backgrounds and industries, and also have the option to provide assistance to students in the form of flash mentoring or answering questions students may have about companies, majors, industries, etc. The sign-up process is very quick, and you can set all of your preferences up to engage in the way that you most prefer. CareerShift is another great resource. It's going to assist job seekers with searches and networking in the following ways. Search, store, and record job listings from multiple job boards in one search. Get inside contact information immediately, including email addresses for millions of companies. You can access in-depth information about contacts at organizations, including Rutgers alumni working at those companies, available jobs, and also record your history of correspondences. You can create your own personal marketing campaign, including unlimited resumes and cover letters, and then save access to them so you can print them or email them at any time. And CareerShift is a resource made available for free access to Rutgers alumni by the Rutgers University Alumni Association and Rutgers University Foundation. You can request access to CareerShift just by filling out a request form through the ralumni.com/career resources website. You'll see the posting for CareerShift on there, and you can just go through and fill out the form, and then from there you will have the access code emailed to you. And the other thing to look forward to are various job fairs and career fairs that we may have, whether on campus or even virtually, as opportunities for you to connect with employers and to conduct effective job search networking as well. To recap the strategy section of the job search, here are some action steps that you can take to develop an effective and impactful search strategy. So you can start by developing the targeted list of companies, employers, as well as contacts that you may have so you can really ramp up the networking, and then look to utilize things like the dedicated search features of LinkedIn, professional associations, CareerShift, and Student Alumni Career Connect as other ways to enhance the networking and job search strategy itself. And the important thing to remember with networking contacts is that anyone from current colleagues to former professors, friends, family, they can all potentially be helpful networking sources. So take stock of who you know, what they do, and who they may know as well, then start reaching out. Another list can be made for specific organizations that you would like to work with in your desired industry. So use geographical preferences, commuting distance, and job titles, and they can be those key qualifiers that help you to identify a more targeted list of ideal employers. Make sure you have a professional-looking and purpose-driven LinkedIn profile already set up. You can start connecting with these organizations if they have LinkedIn pages, as well as alumni, current, and former employees of the organization to start networking within the company itself. You can connect with people working within your given field, as well as those working at companies of interest in human resources, specifically the recruitment end or talent acquisition. Company recruiters are often the front line of individuals reviewing applications, posting jobs, and conducting phone screenings, so it's worthwhile to be on their radar. You can also utilize the Student Alumni Career Connect platform in a similar kind of way. From here, you can start setting up job alerts with the various job boards such as Google, LinkedIn, Indeed, etc., based on specific job titles that they use and company names as well. You can also start following the organizations on social media to stay apprised of any relevant news and postings. This will allow you to potentially connect with the employees at the organizations as you see who else may also be following these companies and start to really build the network out from there. Next, there's a resource called OwnNet. And it can really help you to identify and define relevant keywords and search criteria. The website is ownetonline.org, and you can look up specific occupations and then find alternate related job titles, skill sets, etc., to help you to define your search criteria and your current marketability in the field. And lastly, you can discover a list of professional organizations and associations by conducting a Google search for CareerOneStop. That's all one word, CareerOneStop. CareerOneStop Professional Association Finder. These organizations and associations may have in-person networking events and conferences that you can attend. So take time to visit their websites and see if they have a dedicated job board as well. Other types of in-person events can include career fairs, meetups, and professional clubs like Toastmasters, which can assist with public speaking, skill development, and networking. If you find that there's a recent gap in your work history or periods of unemployment, consider pivot roles, or roles that are related to the area that you want to work in, but they may not be the exact job in and of itself. Sometimes pivot roles provide enough related experience and/or references and networking opportunities to help you make the leap to your ideal role. Plus, they keep you working. Also, consider filling employment gaps through professional development and continuing education opportunities. Partaking in these activities keeps your skill set fresh and relevant and can assist in providing necessary credentials when making a career transition to a new field. The best continuing education and professional development programs tend to come from your universities and colleges, renowned professional associations in your field, and some online learning programs such as Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, formerly lynda.com, and Udacity. The third part of the job search process that we'll consider here today is your toolkit. By toolkit, I'm specifically referring to your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile, interviewing skills, and professional marketing materials such as business cards, a personal website, a portfolio, etc. Ideally, you want to tailor your resume, cover letter, and interview preparations to each specific job that you apply to as necessary. This involves using keywords and phrases. Then you want to make sure that they match up to the job description and your particular background in terms of education, experience, and skills. The job description is your blueprint to know exactly what the employer is looking for in an ideal candidate. It helps to deconstruct the job description when identifying major themes, requirements, and qualifications, then matching those to your related experiences. Does the employer keep repeating essential skills or characteristics? Do you notice the same keywords or phrases continually popping up? What are the top 3 areas of expertise that the employer values? Do they describe essential elements of the company culture and/or maybe a certain role that seems to be really emphasized? How well do all of these things match your background? Literally, making a list of these components of the job description in one column, then detailing your related experience in another column, can help to clearly identify the material used to tailor your preparations. And it makes sure that the most important and relevant content is going to be displayed in your documents to be viewed by the recruiters and hiring managers. One strategic method to assist with your resume, cover letter, and interview prep is called the STAR method. You may have also heard it called PAR or CAR. They are all essentially referring to the same thing, though. In essence, you're describing the situation and tasks, the actions, and the results of your experiences related to the job search. You can use this when developing impactful bullet point statements on your resume or preparing for interview Q&A. Within the context of your resume, cover letter, and interview responses, you want to tell your audience the following 3 things: what you did, how you did it, and why it was important or the purpose behind it. All the while, keep in mind how these things relate to the job that you're going for and the employer's frame of reference. This provides the chance to demonstrate specific skills through the use of related keywords and phrases, but also the positive achievements that you've had during internships, work, volunteering, and project-based experiences. It's up to you to bring those things forward and make the connection between your background and how it relates to the job as overtly as possible for the employer. When you use the STAR method to detail specific situations you were part of, actions and skills that you use to handle situations, and the positive results or the impact that you've made, it gives the employer real-world context and a really good sense of what you're capable of. Whether in an interview or on your resume and cover letter, utilizing the STAR method makes sure that you're providing substantive information. You can look at your resume as a commercial, if you will, for who you are as a candidate. Typically, recruiters are spending maybe 30 to 60 seconds reviewing a resume, which is roughly the same time spent viewing a commercial on TV. Similar to a commercial, if you don't catch the viewer's attention and create a positive, memorable impression within that time frame, then the opportunity is lost. Many employers use applicant tracking software systems, or ATS, to review applications. ATS looks for specific keywords and phrases related to your education, experience, skills, job titles, employers, etc., to see how well you match up with the job at hand. So the resume is a critical part to landing interview opportunities and should be tailored specifically towards your targeted audience. Look closely at the language they use. One employer may emphasize leadership, while another emphasizes collaboration. One employer may refer to the role as a marketing coordinator, while the other may call it a marketing strategist. These details matter. You want to align yourself as closely as possible with the job by mirroring the language in a way that clearly shows your qualifications for the role, while still genuinely representing your background. In terms of formatting options, you can also prioritize your bullet point statements. Remember, the resume reviewer doesn't spend a long time on your resume initially, so putting your bullet points for each position in order of importance is a way to make sure they see the most important ones first. And with passing the ATS kind of check here, with the systems and making sure you can pass that round of the application, it's important too to make sure that your resume is formatted correctly. So eliminating charts, graphs, tables, lines, borders, things that might kind of, almost confuse the system, if you will. When the formatting has too many of those elements in it, it tends to block up the system in a way where the format is not then read properly. And if your information is not displaying properly on the resume, when the recruiter or the employer is viewing it, it's going to be a waste of their time. And chances are, if they have lots of applicants, they may not take the time to really decipher what is of value in your resume because it's not easy to read in their system. So keeping it more straightforward and plain, utilizing things like bold, italics, capitalization, spacing, underlining, those are all safe ways to distinguish your important sections and important information without gunking up, so to speak, the ATS systems. With cover letters, unless otherwise stated, it's safe to assume that you should include a cover letter that matches the job description to show why you're a good candidate for the role. It's also important to include information about your inherent interest in the organization or job to help distinguish each letter that you send out. The cover letter is also a test of your writing and communication skills, so make sure it accurately shows the employer your ability to write efficiently, effectively, in a way that is informative and certainly error-free. Finally, when it comes to interview prep, a method that can be used in conjunction with the STAR method is called conflict. The conflict method is about preparing scenarios around broad topics so that you can refer back to them for the most common types of interview questions. What types of scenarios? That's where conflict comes in. The first C is for collaboration. The O is for organization. N is for negotiation. The F is for failure. L for leadership. I for independence. The second C is for challenges, and the T is for time sensitive. Thinking back to times you've encountered each of these types of situations, styles of work, or experiences will help you address many of the interview questions that tend to be posed. You can then use the STAR method to walk the interviewer through your scenario in a meaningful way. Employers will use your past experiences as an indicator of future performance. So being able to talk meaningfully about what you've done, what you've learned, and how you've previously used your talents, skills, and abilities, and then connecting all of that back to the job at hand is a very effective way to make a positive impression on the interviewer. Now, let's take a look at a couple of specific resources to help you with preparing your own professional toolkit. Free access to a Grammarly Premium account has been provided courtesy of the Rutgers University Alumni Association and Rutgers University Foundation to Rutgers alumni for a 3-month period. Premium access includes critical grammar and spelling checks, advanced checks for punctuation, context, and sentence structure, vocabulary enhancement, suggestions, genre-specific writing checks, and even a plagiarism detector. You can use Grammarly to assist with resume, cover letter, or personal statement preparation if you're applying to graduate school. In order to request access to the Grammarly account, you can just go to the ralumni.com website, and you'll see that highlighted there as well. You fill out the request form, and you'll get all of the information emailed to you. Interview Stream is another resource you'd like to utilize, especially for interview prep, because it's going to allow you to rehearse interview questions online in a mock interview style format and develop really strong interview skills based off of a review of your performance. You can select from thousands of sample interview questions and review your performance online, either individually or maybe even with a career advisor. It's helpful to see body language, content of responses, and also habits. Things like, are you saying too much? Are you using your hands a lot as you talk? It helps to become more self-aware of our interview-related behaviors, the quality of our answers, and also to simply get accustomed to verbalizing our interview responses out loud. You can access Interview Stream from your individual campus career service centers, and also find out more information at the ralumni.com/career services website. To recap the tools part of the job search, here are some action items that you can take to strengthen your resume, cover letter, interviews, and professional toolkit as you research, practice, and prepare. Have your resume, cover letter, and LinkedIn profile critiqued by individuals who are knowledgeable in your field, work in HR, and/or are well-informed in career services. Use Grammarly to assist with document preparation and to ensure that you have error-free materials. Start conducting research on employers of interest to prepare your tailored documents and interviews, and also to deconstruct the job descriptions to find your areas of strength for how you match up to the role. For all of my physics and astronomy people out there, you probably know that stars are formed when denser parts of a cloud core collapse under their own weight or gravity. So as a memory device, recall that conflict produces stars to help you with things like interview prep. And we talked about the star method and the conflict method as two strategies and techniques that you can use to help you. So prepare scenarios using the conflict method to handle interview questions and work on delivering answers using the STAR format whenever possible to help interviewers understand what you've done, how you've done it, why it mattered, and how this relates to the job that you're interviewing for. Then you can utilize your webcam and also something like Interview Stream to help practice mock interviews. You may also consider using these tools in your toolkit to apply for pivot positions or jobs that are related to your field, but not necessarily at the exact level or company you ideally desire. This may include contract or consulting roles, as they will also help cover gaps of unemployment while still providing relevant work experience for the resume and also working on your bigger picture goals. You may also consider covering employment gaps with continuing education, independent work, and/or volunteer experiences. We've covered a lot of ground related to the job search, so where should you begin and which parts of the job search process should you immediately emphasize? It's important to periodically look at what's working and what's not in order to evaluate and diagnose issues in the job search. You can break this down by looking at each of the three parts in the job search that we covered here today and then asking two questions. Are you getting interview requests? If so, are you getting job offers? If you're not receiving responses to applications and minimal interview requests are coming through, then there may be an issue with either the strategy, you're relying too heavily on internet job boards, not making connections at organizations, applying for jobs that aren't the right fit, not tailoring your search to be specific for your industry, etc. Or there may be an issue with the tools and documents like the resume and cover letter. There may be errors in it. Maybe it's not ATS friendly. Maybe it's not tailored to the positions or highlighting your direct and transferable skills effectively. Also, as part of the consideration, social media accounts may contain something that's inappropriate in terms of content or controversial, or the content might just be misaligned with the kind of job that you're going for. It could also be that you're applying too late to positions. According to research, it's best to apply within the first 4 days of the job being posted. If you're receiving interview requests on the flip side, and things are going well with all of those other components, but you're not getting offers or making progress there in the interview process, then the issue may involve interview prep, technique, and execution. And then this would then, be the main focal point to begin with. If the search strategy and professional documents are sound, then ideally employers will actually do requests for the phone screenings, for Skype interviews, or for in-person interviews as well. So getting to this stage should tell you that you're doing something right with the first two parts of the job search. However, landing the job offer and getting that actual offer means that you would be doing well at the interview stage as well. So this is how you can start to diagnose the individual area of need that you might have. It may sound kind of obvious, but if the offers aren't coming through, then it may be time to focus on the research practice and execution of the interview responses. During the job search process, take time to periodically adjust your methods as needed. Focus on areas to improve and strengthen and maximize what's actually working. Also, make time to celebrate your wins and successes. Moving from not receiving callbacks to now receiving actual interview requests is a battle that you've won. Now it's time to focus on the next stage to win the war and get the job. Thank you so much for joining us here for this Working Lunch webinar. And a very special thank you to all of the viewers, Rutgers Alumni, Rutgers University Alumni Association, Rutgers University Foundation, and also the Office of Career Exploration and Success. I hope this webinar was helpful, and I wish you the best of luck in your job search. Thank you so much for attending, and we'll see you next time.